time to talk finances, and when we do that, we always look to Sterling Financial's Dan Ohlweiler for that. Thanks
How are
for
you?
joining us. Pretty good.
Good to see you, Michael.
Good to see you. Did you have a good weekend?
Pretty good, yeah. Nice weather.
Nice weather, good.
So
Glad
how
about
about
that.
yourself?
It was actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
Went to the Lobster Fest. Lobsters are in season down here, so we had some lobster last night.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not going to lie to you. It was a good night.
You might do it again, huh?
I might go back to that. Well, let's talk a little bit about folks being able to spend a little more money, maybe on Lobster Fest or whatever that is. There's a COLA increase coming for Social Security.
Social Security Administration just announced it last week, and the recipients who are getting Social Security, it will go up 3.2%, which is a lot lower than last year. So there's a little bit of good news, bad news in regards to the cost of living adjustment. We always like to see our benefits go up, but that means inflation is here as well. So they always take the what they call the CPI for urban wage earners. So it's the cost of
consumer price index
for the consumer wage, not for retirees, but the urban wage earners, which is a little bit different. So our urban wage earners are probably a little bit younger than retirees, spend more on entertainment and things like that. Retirees tend to spend a little bit more on medical expenses, things like that, where younger people don't. There's always a debate whether or not which index
what numbers we're looking at.
Which numbers we should use. There's been a couple of bills introduced that they say they should go by the retirees index and what they're spending money on versus the wage earners. But last year was 8.7.
Right, it was a huge bump, but that was really kind of inflation fueled, right?
That's what I'm saying. There's good news, bad news to this. For a couple of years, we didn't get any increase back after COVID hit and the recession. It actually was zero. So they saw prices going down. So 3.2. It's averaged about 2.6 over the last 20 years or so. So some years has been 5, some years have been 1. So it's averaged about 2.6. So it's a little bit higher than the average, but not as much as last year.
So the maximum amount of earnings is subject on the tax table. Tell me a little bit about what we're talking about in that area.
Well, maximum amount of earnings that they're talking about if you happen to work before what they call full retirement age.
Right.
Full retirement age for baby boomers generally is about 66 and 8 months or something like that. If you're born after 1955, it's 67.
Okay.
So it started out at 65, moved to 66. Now it's 66.8.
Right.
And
It's
by the time our children get it, it'll probably be 70. Because Social Security, they say that the Social Security Trust Fund is supposed to run out in 2034 if they don't do anything.
Right.
Well, the odds are they're going to do something because you would have a civil war if Social Security started cutting payments.
It's one of the things people definitely count on, right?
Well, and there's 2 or 3 things that they can do. They can raise taxes on those that are paying Social Security tax, which is a possibility. They can raise the level of the amount that we pay on. So right now, I think it's about $150,000 or so that we pay.
Right.
Over and above that, we don't have to pay anymore.
Right. In terms of your income.
They could raise that to $250 or something, or so you could raise the taxes on that. You raise the income level, or they could do what is called a means-tested benefit, which is a little bit like the Medicare that they do. The more money you make, the more you have to pay for Medicare.
Okay.
The more money you have, the less Social Security benefit you might have.
Okay.
Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos doesn't need
They're not worrying about that check.
They're not worried about Social Security, but they've paid into it. They're entitled to it. Well, if they go to a means-tested benefit, they probably won't be getting any. My opinion is they'll probably do something along all 3.
Okay.
That they'll raise the age for eligibility, they'll raise taxes in the level, and then it possibly could go to a means-tested benefit.
Now, before the cost of living adjustment hasn't always been there. It used to have to be Congress had to act to increase that.
They did in 1975. They actually implemented the cost of living adjustment to Social Security, which is a good thing, obviously.
Sure, absolutely.
You want that coming in, and so Congress in 1975, implemented the cost of living adjustment to Social Security benefits as well. So it wasn't always there, but at the same time, back in the 1940s, when President Roosevelt first brought in Social Security, for every person receiving a benefit, there were 44 workers supporting that one person on Social Security.
Right.
Well, 80 baby boomers are retiring over the next decade.
Right, and this has been a ticking clock for a while. We've been talking about
from
this.
paying into Social Security to collecting Social Security. And so the number of people that are supporting one person has dropped down to about 3.
Right.
And so that's why you've got so much concern about the trust fund running out, and the fact that Congress moved the trust fund money into the general fund, which is another problem. But I'm
we won't mention that part here.
Yeah.
We're not going to solve that problem today.
Yeah.
But how many people are on Social Security? What do the numbers look like?
The average person is getting right around $1,800 a month. Okay, so that 3.2% benefit is going to raise it about $57, they say.
Okay, so not a major boom.
Yeah, it'll probably fill up a small gas tank, and so.
But it's a major cost. We have like 77-something million people that are that are receiving it too, right?
So and that's going to increase significantly as the baby boomers start to retire, and so. They're going to have to do something. If they don't do something, they'll get voted out of office, and people don't want to be voted out of office. So nobody wants to be responsible for Social Security benefits going down. And so they'll do something. It's just like it's going to be a combination of raising the taxes and raising the income level that we pay taxes on, things along that line.
And people aren't surviving on this. They can't. Most people can't really survive on this.
Well,
so
Social Security wasn't meant to be.
And it was meant to be supplemental.
It was supposed to supplement our retirement saving, but in the 40s, everybody had pensions. Okay.
Right. Okay? There's a different system
You worked
out
for
there.
GM or Ford or IBM, and everybody had a pension, and Social Security was supposed to supplement that.
Right.
Well. 30, 40 years ago, companies decided they didn't want to be on the hook for lifetime benefits, and so they implemented what they call the defined contribution plan, or the 401k.
Right.
I'll put into the fund, you can put into the fund. When you retire, Michael, here's your lump sum of money. Now you're responsible for your own retirement.
Right.
And so when Social Security started, it wasn't meant to be the primary source of income in retirement. Unfortunately, there's about probably 30% of recipients that's what their main source of income is. And so, doing some planning helps if we can sit down earlier, get an income plan established for you, and then have that Social Security supplement that kind of alleviates some of the concern.
Right, that month-to-month kind of feeling you would have.
You want to have a strong foundation of monthly income, because it's income that pays the bills, not assets. I could have $1 million of land out in Barstow, California, but it's not generating income to me, and I've got bills along the way. So it's monthly income that pays the bills, not assets.
Right. Well, this is the man who should know, Sterling Financial's Dan Ohlweiler. Thank you for that sound advice, as always.
Well, good to be here, Michael.
Thanks.
All right.
All right, Baby Boomers Club coming up next. Stay with us.